Hello, this is Module 3, and one of the things I'm going to walk you through this Module 3 is there's an entire course that we talk about JavaScript, so I'm trying to squeeze in as much as I can into this part of this in this web programming class with it as well. So, like I said, there's a 96 hours of JavaScript that I teach out of this with it. So I'm going to just do about as much as 6 or 7 hours with you as I can on this kind of like an intro class with it, picking up the key important concepts. Some of the stuff I'm going to talk to you about is pretty profound, so you might want to watch this over several times with it. But but as we talk through this thing, one of the hardest things about teaching programming is we're talking about something that's very abstract with it. So bear with me. You have to believe what I'm telling you with it. That's the hardest thing. It's like somebody taking Algebra 1 with it, talking about variables, talking about arrays, talking about constants. These are the type of stuff that you lose half of the population when you talk about memory storage with it as well. Anyways, excuse me. This is your Module 3 file with it. Again, I had to go clear some things with the IT guys and our lab component to it, so it took me a little longer, and I had to edit some stuff in here as well and update the terminology with it. Excuse me. So similar to Module 1 and 2, you download this, you put your full name on top here in the header with it. Please keep you follow along with it. All these video links are linked right here to explain. I don't know how many they are with it. I just created. So this is probably this first one you're looking at is link 1. I try to keep the videos between 12 minutes or less with some of these things with it as well. In this module, you will be talking about JavaScript syntax and learning how to. I'm going to talk about JavaScript. The new version with it is the ES6 with it. How do you write your code, make it readability, maintainable? 80% of the programmer's life is maintaining somebody's code. So think about how you want to the next guy coming in and you coming into the next guy. What are some of the best practice and what we do in industry for you to actually maintain that code with it as well. I'm going to talk to you about modules. I'm going to talk about arrow functions. I'm going to talk about destructing. I'm going to talk to you about constructing and some of the things that we talk about. This is probably one of the hard things, the basic bare bones about JavaScript right now with it. All right. By the end of this module, I'm going to have you write some JavaScript code, how to apply what we are learning in here with it. So this is all lecture part with it. And we're going to talk about writing a function. We're going to talk about writing arrows, how things are differently made with it as well with it. All right. So what happens before version ES6 modules with it as well? So before ES6 JavaScript organization rely on global variables with it. There's global variables and there's local variables, right? And things a lot of times are declaring global that you would actually call and reuse that. That's the key thing, is to reuse your variables, reuse your code, reuse your function, reuse your arrows. These are the type of stuff that are good practice that we want to use with it, right? But there will be some limitation if you start to call things in global variables with it. So risk of name conflicts, for example. So you get, instead of calling balance 1, balance 2, it gets very, very messy with it. Script load and other dependency with it as well. So what do I mean by that? When you load other scripts that rely on another function and you deactivate another function with it, it affects all the code in the main script with it. Okay, bear with me. I want to demonstrate this later on with it. Poor encapsulation. Let me talk to you about encapsulation first of all. Encapsulation is writing the function, calling the function, and passing a function through it. All right. So you pass an argument through into a function, and I want to talk to you more about what's that about with it. So difficulty in code reusing and maintenance with it. These are the issues that they ran before ES6. That's what. But now our JavaScript is becoming more object-oriented programming. It's more reliable. It's more consistent with it. So if you know how to JavaScript program, you will definitely get a job. I can tell you that with it. All right. So the first thing we need to do is I'm going to talk to you by solving what's called encapsulating. Encapsulating is you write a function with it, right? and you pass an argument in that function, and then you call the function, right? So let's say you wrote a function called balance, and you pass today's balance, subtracting what you bought today, and it will take off from your balance and gives you a return of balance. That's just an example of encapsulation with it. Making dependency explicit, so you have to make your dependency more visible, and maintaining that dependency that it will be reused over again with it, right? Improving the maintainability with it, all right? So again, you're maintaining other people's code. What is one function put inside of another function, put inside another function with it? We want to encourage you to reuse the functions with it, not use that function just one time. You always want to write that function, whether it's a function, whether there's an arrow. We will decide, what's best to use a constructor, what's best to use a function, what's best to use, what is best practice. I'm going to talk to you about as well with it. Reducing the global scope with it. We have too many global scope variables and floating out there with it. It gets really messy when you have too many global variable, and plus it's not secure coding with it. When you have too many global variables, you want to make it local. You want to make it more protected in your function with the curly brackets that you have with it. All right, let's talk about the first thing. I'm watching the time here. We're about 6 minutes into this already. The first thing is I'm going to talk to you about exporting our code, all right? So when you export code, modules export functionality so other files can use it. So a lot of times you can actually write multiple values with it. So this is an export. This is one of the things you have to start. The reserve word is export with it. Export function, these are reserve words, and you're going to call it add, all right? So let's say this argument of A and B that you're passing across, and it's going to return A plus B. So anytime you call the function called add, it's going to pass across two values with it, two variables, A and B is going to be add, and it's going to be return it to it. Very simple mathematical calculation, right? So you can call this function subtract, same thing with it, and it will return to you whatever the value that you pass across here. Key characteristics I want you to actually to note: can export multiple functions and variables, all right? So you can export a lot of multiple functions and variables to get out to. Let's say you have a quadratic formula here. You write your quadratic formula here. You can write your xy coordinates to find to solve y with it as well. Again, all these things are all planned that you can export multiple functions and variables at the same time. Bullet number 2, must be imported using this exact same name. So import and export, okay, import, you've got to use the import. I'm going to talk to you about the import in a little second with it as well. And then, of course, wrap in curly braces during the import with it as well. So these are things that are the boundaries, that's the scope is what I'm trying to get to a word that actually is contained between the curly left and right curly brackets with it, all right? There is what's called default export with it. When you use the module export, one value, primary value. So it's a defaulted value with it. So for example, you open up you open up Microsoft Word. It defaults to Times New Roman font size 12, Arial font size 12, Calibri font size 12. That's basically a default export with it as well. So here the logger.x with it, again, starts out with export, default function log. Here's the message that you pass across in a particular variable with it, and then you pass that message in here. It's going to output it to the console is the object, and the method is log. All right, so it's using the syntax of the dot syntax here. So console is the object, and which displays basically or print or output, and dot log means it's going to display. That's the method you're passing in the argument called message right here. All right. Key things, key characteristics, only one default export per file with it. So you can only have one of these things. Import without curly brackets with it. So import you can do without the curly brackets and can be renamed during import. All right. For instance, you can import the function called add and subtract. Remember these two functions I wrote up here, add and subtract? You can actually import that in here with it, right? More than one from A JavaScript, another file. Remember now, the dot is the pointing to within the directory with it. When you create a directory, there's two subdirectories. One is the dot, and the other one is the dot dot. The single dot points within the same directory that this file, this code is in, and it's telling you to go to the file called mathUtil.js. And then you're going to import the log, same folder that is designed for log.js in this. And then you're going to pass it, call the function called add. It's going to add 2 plus 3, and it's got a log called the function log, which is this function. It's going to pass it up to the console, so it should pass up 5. Okay, so it's going to display 5. Key rules I want you to understand here is one default function per file. You can only have one default function per file. Keep that in mind. All right. Naming the export must match the exact name. Name of the export must match the exact name. I have a true false questions here with it. Know some of these stuff because later on down at the end of this lecture you need to answer some of these questions with it as well. There's a true and false section in there. Refer to these bullet points right here. Browser usually require file extensions of .js with it. All right. So you have to give it a file extension JS with JavaScript. Import are static. Elevated before execution with it as well. So it is higher priority, okay, when you do an import, it takes over the export. It has higher with it as well. By the way, everything I'm telling you right here with it, this is the basic vanilla JavaScript right now. There are hundreds of JavaScript flavors out there with it. There's React that Facebook uses. Netflix uses React with it as well. So this particular JavaScript I'm talking about, this is the plain wafer vanilla, the most basic JavaScript there is with it. All right, every JavaScript flavor, it has its own characteristics and different behaviors with it as well. Now, I'm going to move to all that we talked about is basically it's all functions with it. I'm going to introduce you to another concept that's all what's called arrow function. An arrow function versus what's all this time we've been talking up here is your traditional function with it, but arrow function is a little bit different with it. Here's your traditional function. Function is your reserved word. Multiply is the name of the function. Parentheses A, comma, B, comma. All of this from here to here, all of this is what's called your function header. From your curly brackets to your left and right curly brackets here and here with it, that's what's called your function body with it. At the end of every function, all right, either returns a value. In this case, it returns A multiplied by B. This is what's been coupled in the memory. You have to output this function, by the way, right? So we saw how to display or call that function display with it. To convert a regular function syntax to an arrow, this is what you use. You use a const, which is a constant. You're declaring multiply is the constant with it, equal A plus A comma B. And it's going to multiply these two values together. And the point is this is the arrow right here. You see equal greater than sign? This is the arrow. So you pass in 2 comma 3. It's going to take the operator is the multiplication. 2 times 3 here. That will be 6. Okay. So what's the difference between these two? Well, one, shorter syntax. Cleaner callbacks with it. So I call back multiply. It'll come back a lot easier. Implied, implicit return. Well, you know, so when single expression is returned. Lexical, this binding. So you don't have this binding with it as well. So it's a lexical binding with it. All right. Arrow function. I want to talk to you about this right here. This is the first thing I want to talk about. This, okay, it's an arrow function that do not have their own this. This refers to an object. That's what you're doing. You just created an object to actually an object is like, think of it like a blueprint. All right. So this blueprint that you gave it in this case is, for example, here's a function called timer. How do I know it's a function? Left and right parentheses right here. Open up your left curly bracket. You use the object called this. Now it's assigned to seconds. Is initialized at 0. So this object is basically at 0. You're going to actually use this object in here to set the interval when you actually set this function coming across to a arrow here. This arrow is going to actually direct to, when you say seconds, means plus plus means what? Seconds equal to second plus 1. So whatever the value here is, 0 plus 1, it's going to assign 2 seconds. and then 1 plus 1 equal to 2. It's going to update to 2. So it's going to automatically increment this, okay, until it gets to 1,000. So that's how I want you to think about this as well with it. I know, bear with me. I'm almost 15 minutes. I'm going to stop right here for this first segment. This concludes part 1.